Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Adam RPG with me, Bring It On. Let's see if we can grab that quest from this guy now. Whoops. Okay, that's interesting. Because the quest log updated after we spoke to the other guy about this guy. I thought that would lead to the quest. It must be a skill that I'm lacking in. It might be speechcraft or it might be attention. I don't think you can miss a quest due to lack of attention. So it might be speechcraft that I need. Well, let's do some bartering. What can we get? I can trade this in for these. Maybe even those. Ah, cool. The perfect trade. Also, I did notice during my video check that I missed some stuff up here. Or over here? There are some bottles laying outside of a building that I didn't grab. And they're worth 1 ruble apiece, so they're worth picking up. Oh, here they are. Still getting used to the a different game that's not Baldur's Gate. I'd played Baldur's Gate for 9 months straight, so this requires some adapting. Alright, I thought there was going to be a third person here. Maybe it doesn't show up till later? One of your old buddies should be here. But maybe we leave and come back. Also, I'm pretty sure this guy has a quest for us as well. I'm going to try talking to him again. Hey, how are things? The man first bends to stretch his back, then flexes his neck muscles. He looks tired. Well, here, I have some bottles for you. That'll make things a little better. I've been better. This is my third straight day on duty. Can I help somehow? I believe you can, buddy. Think you get me a bottle of beer from the tavern? But be quiet about it. I don't want anyone to see me drinking on duty. Understandable. Sure, I'll help you out, and I'll be stealthy about it. Seriously? Wow, thanks. You're a real friend. Just hang on. Don't want you to die of thirst. There we go. That's what I thought. And then I'm also going to grab some vodka while I'm here. I think it's vodka that the other guy wants. I'll start by talking to this guy. He should also have a quest for us. Ooh, +3 speechcraft. That might be good this early on. Can I scrounge together that much money? That's 35. Let me go ahead and trade this in as well. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Alright, then we need pre-war vodka. Only one of these. And a beer. One of these. Actually, it might be a beer. On one of the tables. But that looks like that might be a beer, so I might be able to get that for free instead. We'll see. Before you stands a plump, red-faced man of around 25, with a neatly trimmed beard. He's wearing a white shirt with some rather short shorts. In his hands, there's a clean towel he uses to swat annoying flies. Upon seeing you, the man gives you a wide smile. Oh, a customer. Welcome to the tavern. You travelers sure keep on coming. What do you mean? Well, you're here right now, and not long ago an armed band came through the village. People with guns usually mean trouble in these parts. Means trouble? But they were nice and civil, just like real army men. Can you tell me more? Not much more to tell. They weren't chatty. Our village head wanted to speak to them about an issue, but they just left, so I don't think he was able to strike any kind of deal. They talked to our gate guard more than anyone else. His name is Jan. If you want to know more, I suggest you speak to him. Anyway, maybe you'd like to drink something to eat. Or something to eat. Can't read. Still. Are there any jobs you might need me for? You talk to my sister about that. I'm a simple fellow myself. I can sell you beer, I can sell you spirits. That I do gladly. Need something done around the house? A light bulb screwed in or a chair fixed, for example? Just give me a call. But save the more serious stuff for Katya's ears. She's the proactive one. He looks at a young lady nearby who seems to be lost in some calculations. It's just that she's pretty busy right now. Tallying expenses, planning the budget, you know. When Katya is busy, it's pretty hard to get her attention. Oh, but I just thought of something. You know what she loves? Like all sorts of potions, tinctures, and spirits. Can't really understand why, but she's quite into all that chemistry stuff. Tell her I sent you to try out her latest tincture. That way you'll get a free drink and also get to chat with her. Sly, huh? Pretty clever, methinks. Thanks for the advice. Let me take a look at the menu. Alright, thanks. Can I ask some more questions first, though? A pleasure. Ask away. How do you like working around here? Not too bad. Great, even. Yes, it's pretty great. It's a simple job, but well respected by the people, for obvious reasons. If there's a party of some sort, any kind of celebration, a burial, or simply a day off your job, who's there to pour you a glass of your favorite poison? Me, that's who. That's why I'm so well liked by everyone. The barkeep smiles warmly and pats himself on the belly. And there's money in it too. Yes, sir. Me and my sis, we're like, what do they call it in the West? Entrepreneurs. Well, she's much more entrepreneurial than me because she does all the paperwork, but still. Well, I'm glad you found your calling. Tell me about yourself. What's there to tell? Me and Katya, we're local and we don't go out too much, but that doesn't bother me. I like it here, working as a bartender. That's my job. Katya's using her accounting skills to keep the establishment from falling apart. See? Even now, she's sitting over there with her documents, totally ignoring the world around her. But that's okay. What do we do without her accounting? I don't even want to think about the job I'd have then. I think you'd cope. How's life out here? How's life? The people are reasonably civil. As for the living itself, we don't suffer from hunger or an excess of excitement. To some it sounds boring, but I really like it. I actually only changed one thing about this place. When we inherited this dining hall, I started calling it a tavern instead. It's a great word, tavern. Kind of cozy, right? The old name was Laborer Dining Hall, Food for Workers. Those words are from the old world, and me and Katya, we never saw all that much of it. Quite the innovator you are. Have you heard any good gossip? One drunken traveler, a pretty shady character by the way, once told me that in Krasno City, the banditry is so secure in their position, the crime bosses give out special thief passports to their underlings. It's like their work permits or something. That's pretty interesting. Tell me something else. People say that before the war there were no mushrooms around these parts. Apparently the climate was too dry. But after the war, the climate seems to be the same, but the mushrooms are growing everywhere. Maybe they lied about not having so many mushrooms before. Or maybe it's old lady radiation playing her weird tricks on us all. God only knows, friend. God only knows. Alright, something else. Well, that is the same rumor that we've already read, so I better go. Hold on, friend. Maybe you'd like to hear a little business proposal first. Okay, let's hear it. It's a simple matter. A small job, really. What I need is for you to bring me this book I ordered, but it's all the way over in Krasno. Abraham the bookseller has it at his store. I can't go get it myself because of my responsibilities at the bar. I can see that you travel a lot, so if you ever find yourself in Krasno, maybe you could pick it up for me. If you do, I'll be sure to compensate you for your trouble. And what's this book about? There's this writer named Tolkien who lived in England, which was a country way back before the war, and he kind of wrote fairy tales for adults. You know, I should probably call it science fiction, or maybe not. I'm no good with genres. Doesn't matter. The book is about another world. Anywho, I've always loved reading, especially if it's about something extraordinary, something fantastic. Where there's robots, and the rings of Saturn, ancient Greek myths, and all that kind of stuff. Then I was told that this Abraham in Krasno can get me this Tolkien's book. And with a special translation, too. Anyway, I drove to the city and ordered it, but now that it's arrived, I can't find the time to go pick it up. Well, it's a deal. If I ever get to Krasno, I'll visit this Abraham character. The man looks over your map and marks the city with a cross. Wow, thank you so much. Here's a receipt for the book. Show it to Abraham, and he'll give it to you. The bartender hands you a small, thick square of paper. On it, or in a formidable cursive, are the words, "The owner of this document, Radchenko, VA, or his legal proxy, may obtain a copy of The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, translated to Russian by Babur Ziye. After handing over this receipt, signed by Merkin A.D. Okay, bye. Before you sits a young woman. Oh, let's see what she has to trade. Some perfume and some rubles. I'm gonna hold on to what I currently have. Before you sits a young woman. She is deep in concentration, writing in a yellow notebook with the word accounting on the cover. She's completely immersed in this activity and does not notice you. I'm actually gonna leave real quick and equip this. Hello. Your brother sent me over. He says you might have a tincture for me to try out. The girl stops her calculations and stares at you blankly. After a moment she blinks, smiles, and tucks her tiny pencil stub behind her right ear. Great. I doubt you've ever drunk anything quite like it. It's a new recipe. Well, not really new. More like long forgotten. Well, sounds intriguing. Can't wait to try it out. The girl nods and shows you to a dim and cold corner of the tavern. Behind the bar, she produces a clay bottle, labeled XXX. Here it is. Drink up. Boldly drink it down. You take a tiny sip. The drink has a strange, sour taste. You shrug and hand the bottle back to the girl. You don't feel intoxicated, or even nauseous. You feel that you should take another sip. Take the bottle back and have another. What harm can a few more sips do? Now your head begins to spin. Nothing unusual about that, right? You have full sensation in your limbs like normal. But then you feel them floating around you, as if all the air has suddenly turned into water. Your mouth is very dry, so you wet it with another sip of the tincture. From some distant place, you hear the girl calling out to you. Don't do it, but you already did. The world around you stops. You also stop. But your mind is racing with thoughts which arrive with exceptional clarity and speed. Why are you here? Why am I here? Why did I drink that stuff? Why? The sound of your own musings is to you like the roll of distant thunder. It's growing nearer every second. You suddenly comprehend that what you thought was thunder is actually footsteps. From out of a misty void, General Morozov appears before you. You looking for me, he asks, his voice like 100 voices in one. You cannot reply. You're frozen. Yeah, you're looking for me, says Morozov, and takes your hand. Let's go. You walk through the dead gray mist together, Morozov in front, you following behind. The general is calm and assured. You have nothing better to do than simply follow him. Finally, the mist parts, and a strangely beautiful sight appears. There are mushrooms here. You arrived at an unreal primordial mushroom forest. Their huge trunks are thicker than the biggest oaks you've ever seen. Their tops spread like giant umbrellas obscuring the sky. The general continues to lead you onward, weaving his way between the massive mushroom stems. Your tour through the fantastic forest stops suddenly at a colossal mushroom, the biggest one of all. This is God, says Morozov, but you can't see the general anymore, because he's speaking from within you. He's talking from your head, using your mouth. You're General Morozov. Suddenly, the ground beneath your feet begins to shake, and you almost lose your balance. It seems like an earthquake, but when the shaking stops, you look up and scream, for the colossal mushroom now has a human face. Bow, orders the mushroom god, and you fall senseless. Your mind turns off for how many hours you do not know. When you finally wake up, you do not feel any of the usual symptoms of heavy drinking from the day before. What the? He's alive, Vasya. He's alive. Oh, there he is. Perfect. The girl is holding you up so you don't collapse completely. Your stability is returning as the tincture leaves your system. The bartender, swearing to himself, wipes the sweat from his brow. How are you feeling? Surprisingly well, actually. It's a good thing you have such a hardy constitution. I'm so sorry I made the tincture too strong. How stupid of me. I nearly killed a man. I feel terrible about this. Yeah. The girl exhales and gives you a smile. We took good care of your stuff while you, slept. You check your belongings to discover that you have not been robbed. Miracles are real after all. I still understand why it turned out so strong. I used my grandfather's recipe as recorded by my grandma. She says, speaking mostly to herself. Anyway, we need to have a talk. Gotta be sure your brain completely recovered. That's a good idea. Can I ask you some questions? I'm listening. What are you doing? The girl looks tiredly at her notebook. It's quite old, grease-stained, torn at the sides, and covered with dirty fingerprints. Like most things since the war, it's been through a lot. Trying to make ends meet, my brother Vasya and I, we own this tavern. He tends the bar, I do all the math and pay our taxes to the village head. Business isn't great though. I also sometimes concoct new beverages for our customers. Some I make from old recipes, some I create myself. We distill it and sell it right here. I love that particular job, but I can't be a brewer without taking care of the bookkeeping and taxes. So here I am. Yeah, no getting around that stuff. Alright, I want to exit this real quick. I need to talk to this guy before he gets away. Alright, no trading to be done. You see a bearded man in a police cap and an old duster. On his back sits an old travel bag. Judging by the sheets of paper stuffed into the bag, this man is a real-life postman. Hey, buddy. No letters for you, I'm afraid. Hey, can I ask you some questions? What did you want to know? What are you busy with? Well, as you can see, I deliver mail. Dangerous work these days, but someone's got to do it. Who do you work for? The Chamber of Commerce in Krasno. The local government, in other words. Their seat of power, as you can tell by their name, is in Krasno. They rule from there. Well, they don't really rule around these parts. Mostly they just sell TVs at a low price, to brainwash the locals with propaganda. That's all because they managed to repair the TV tower at the river. Don't think too harsh on them, though. It's clear that they're basically thugs, but at least they were trying to become a real government. They even hired me to deliver the mail, just like in the olden days. Yeah, so is there a lot of mail to deliver? You wouldn't believe it. I barely cope with the amounts. I'm always asking the bosses to hire more postmen, because although people looked at the idea of creating a postal service suspiciously at first, they soon learned how great it really is. So now I'm delivering heaps of documents, letters of inquiry, and even love letters all over the place. People really are social animals. I see. How are you? I spend most of the time on the road, moving from village to village. I visit all the places around here. Most people seem to like me, even the bad ones. That's all because I'm a reminder of the good old times. I'm carrying mail. That means it's not all bad in this world. Isn't it scary to travel alone? It is pretty scary. The roads are stalked by hungry dogs and wolves. There are also monsters nobody ever seen before the war. Not to mention the bandits. I was shot, I was knifed, I was punched, and I was bitten. But I'm still alive and kicking. No, I'm not changing this job for anything. Not because I have this gun and this fancy cap and my salary, but because by doing my job, I'm bringing order back into the world. One letter at a time, and this feeling keeps me warm even on the coldest of nights. And what about the places where people don't take kindly to you? There are these too. The people are angry and scared in many places. Some believe that anyone who wanders the roads is out there to get them, so they attack first. Killing for them is like drinking vodka for guys like you and me. Second nature. In that case, isn't it scary for you to travel the roads? We've already read that. Okay. Where are you heading from? Where else? From Krasno, our main city. I have my office and my home there. For 15 years I've lived there, but originally I'm from the north. I was one of the refugees. Tell me about Krasno. Before the war I never visited it, really. But I heard that it was a real dump back then. Just some backwater little town, which had a tiny research institute somewhere in it. Nowadays it's the biggest city around. The new Rome. Well, in comparison with all the other towns, which are now nothing but ruins. People resettled it after the war. Farmers built farms around it. Now people work the fields. Somebody fixed the small power station. Others created a primitive form of entertainment industry. The city square is also in good condition, and the old research institute is now home to the mushroom cult. Don't really know anything... Oh, excuse me. Had a cough brewing. And the old research institute is now home to the mushroom cult. Don't really know anything about these guys, but they say they do charity work around the wastes. Have you heard any good rumors? Yep, they say there's a secret organization in the waste called Adam. Ever heard about them? They're the sort of guys that try to find ways to improve life in the wastes by teaching folks how to repair generators, fix the water pipes, and all that good stuff. They do it through undercover agents to infiltrate society. If they really exist, I hope they stay secret. They clearly don't want to show themselves, and so they shouldn't. Well, good thinking, man. Alright, well, I changed my mind. Good luck. Alright, and this is a wandering trader. I think he only appears here in Otradnoye. Ooh, a sharpened knife. That's really good early on. 87 rubles, though. But it's better than a brick, so we're going to take it. We do need wasp legs later on. And fangs, I think. There's a guy that buys wasp legs off of us, so I'm not gonna buy these, but I need to remember to hold on to those as I go forward, because they become harder to find as you level up. Because the higher level you are, the higher level random encounters you run across. You see a well-built, fit man in a faded cap. He's slowly walking on his way, looking at the huts of Otradnoye with interest. A fire-dried paw of Myrmic that sticks out of the man's rucksack waves friendly at you with his every step, till he sees you looking at him and stops. Hey, a fresh face in our land? Surprising but true. Don't try to argue with me, comrade. I've got a photographic memory. If you say or see something, it's like it's set in stone. But enough about me. Let me hear you speak. You didn't approach me for no reason. Shall we bargain? Not for no reason at all. I was hoping to ask you a couple of questions. Yeah? I'm listening. How can I address you? Just call me Nicodeme. I'm a man of nature, not culture. I'm not used to all those redundant niceties. A pleasure to meet you. My name is... Yes? Moom the Snake Strangler. Valiant Rooster, Avenger from... Chisnau? Hoodlum Gennady, the menace robber of the haughty. Let's call me Donnie. Nice to meet you. I'm Nicodeme, and you are Donnie. It's a pleasure and all that. What do you do for a living? I am a lucky man, in the sense that I didn't have to change my profession after the war. I started as an amateur hunter, practicing it in my leisure time. Now I'm doing it full time. I walk in the woods and meadows, enjoying what's left of the local beautiful scenery. I kill game to feed myself and to sell it. I hunt moose, I hunt giant ant myrmic, wolves, hares, what else? Right, those Arachnids Sovieticuses. What? Okay. Oh wow, that's nice work. You get both food for yourself and valuable merchandise. That's true, and the main thing, mind you, is that this line of work is legal and has been respectable even since before the war. Lovely stuff. What can you tell me about this place? Otradnoye is like a rabbit hole between a wolf's den and a bear's lair. It's a nice, cozy place. It's only safe until the wolf and the bear, who are now feeding at other places, start digging it up. Or until a hunter finds it and places a trap at the entrance. Well, that's an interesting opinion. Perhaps you've heard some interesting rumor. Far in the north, beyond the marsh, I often cross paths with another hunter, Nikolai. He's a nice guy, has a respect for literature, even writes poetry. When it comes to our down-to-earth business, he's also a wolf expert. I myself only hunt wolves when there's no other game around. Why waste time on them? They're like dogs. You take away their fangs and that's it. There's nothing left of the game. Nikolai has clients in Krasno who need furs and fangs, so he gets them those. He dragged me into this venture of his once. We went on a wolf hunt together, shot a couple of them, but it took us longer than we thought it would. We had to get back really late at night, and the forest in his area is really entangled, you see. I see, but still, do explain, please. In midday, it's twilight there because the crones of the trees let in the sunlight only through an occasional hole between the leaves and branches. While in the late evening, as it was in our case, it's pitch dark. We had to move pretty much by touch while carrying our load to the glade where we had pitched our tents. But when we finally got out of the thicket, I just froze. My god, it was so beautiful there. In the day, it's a regular glade, but in the night, when the star Hesperus has appeared in the sky and is sailing through the thick clouds, pouring its silver light on Earth, it's a totally different picture then. The dew on the grass sparkled in the starlight. The water in the spring was like a diamond snake. It murmured and winded round the roots and stones. It all made me stop in my tracks. Suddenly, Nikolai poked me in my side. What did he want? Look, he said. Not the only one charmed by the scenery. I recollected myself. Otradnoye was pointing and saw a silhouette of something lying just a couple meters away from my tent. Its shape resembled that of a wolf, but that wolf was lying on its back with 2 pairs of its thin legs in the air, while its head, bent at some unnatural angle, was facing due east. Looking at the sky, at the crones of the trees illuminated with silver light, at the star, motionless, but its fur was all raised, as if it was aiming upwards. Tell me now, why would an animal want to look upwards? No idea. I shouted. The silhouette jumped up and ran into the forest, on all 4, befitting for a wolf, with its head still raised almost vertically, as if its neck had been wrought. Some people may shrug at this and say, maybe it's just a mutation. The wolf was born a freak. But listen to what Nikolai figured. The hunter clears his throat and, stretching his arms with pathos, pronounces with emotion. The years go by and ages pass, but living creatures are no dream. They keep on living and surpass laws that once were true, it seemed. I even learnt it by heart. That's how much I liked it. It was a new moon then. I noticed that on the days when the moon renews, my brain really begins working 100 times better. That's how it is. Yeah, eyes can play tricks on you sometimes. Okay, I think that's it for him. Alright, back to Katya. Already read that. Alright, I'm looking for work. Can you point me towards any opportunities? Everyone's looking for work around here, so I'm afraid I myself can't help. But I could put in a word for you with Comrade Kovalev, our village head. He always has some work to be done. Though he won't do business with someone he's never seen before. Recommending a stranger is kind of unprofessional. Maybe if you'd help me with some chores first, I'd feel better about giving you an introduction. And what do you need help with? I'm ashamed to ask, but I need some toadstools. I don't have time to go picking on my own. Maybe you could help me out. Just 5 toadstools would do. They grow on the other side of the fence, not far from here. What do you think? Fine, I'll get you the mushrooms. I could try the speechcraft, but I'm fine with doing the quest itself. Thanks. I'll be waiting. Consider it done. Hello. How's the gathering going? Got something for me? Hey, I'm not here about that yet. Maybe I could ask you some questions. Tell me about yourself. I'm a lonely tavern keeper lost in the wastes, waiting for my valiant knight to appear. She winks at you and chuckles softly. Well, I don't have a horse, but I can still be quite valiant. She raises one brow and looks at you with interest, an amused smile on her face. Oh really? What's so special about you then? I know a lot about what makes people tick. Why fight when you can settle your differences with words? You give her a wink and she giggles softly. It may seem silly to brag about yourself like that, but you're quite the charismatic fellow and confident in your skills. The girl blushes. Haha, wow. I don't even know what to say. I better think about it. Heh, take your time then. Tell me about your village. It's a nice place. People are civil, everyone does their part to keep things running. Yes, it's a good village. Too bad it's perishing. Criminals won't let us alone, and we've had 2 seasons of drought, and most of the young people moved away long ago. Only my brother and I stayed. When we were kids, this was a thriving community full of people and life. It's not like that nowadays. Back then, people had purpose. Now they don't. The girl sighs and looks out the window at the nearby empty main street. One thing keeps me from getting too sad. A trader by the name of Yashin recently moved into the village. He's very proactive, even built his own store. Have you seen it? It's funny to look at, as if he got the idea from some Western movie. But I think eventually this village will break him too. Probably he'll end up an alcoholic or something. Have you ever thought of leaving? Where would I go? To Krasno? I don't know anyone there, so what would become of me? I'd probably end up a prostitute. No thanks. Better to stay here running my own business. Although the big city would be fun to visit someday. Yeah, one more question. Have you heard any good rumors lately? I heard that this band, Atomic Love Gurus, went on tour around the wastes. A traveling salesman showed me a bootleg album of theirs once. It was great. They sound like the Beatles combined with Boney M. Sad. that I'll never hear them alive. Never hear them live. Oh, sad that I'll... Sorry, Boney M. Sad that I'll never hear them live. Okay. Thought that was his whole name. Boney M. Sad. Maybe you will. Alright, I'm not here for that. Just wanted to know how you are. The girl seems a little shy. Not too bad. Thanks for asking. Well, great to hear. Alright, let's get out of here. Oh, Alexander. This guy is a hoot. You see a muscular man near the bar. He eats minced meat out of a can and washes it down with vodka. His face looks familiar to you. Yes, of course. It's another Adam cadet you knew before being sent on a rescue mission after the Lost Expedition. You never were friends, but you still recognize him. His name is Alexander. Oh, hey. The big guy turns to you, squinting a little. Finally, he waves at you. Hey there, Donnie. Didn't recognize you at first, but now it's painfully obvious. Yeah? What are you doing here anyway? Alexander sniffs, looking at the barkeep and the girl at one of the tables. He then whispers to you. I'm surprised by this question, Chav. What am I doing here? Did you honestly think you were the only one they sent after Morozov and his buddies? Nope, not the case. We were both sent, just at different times. So I stumbled upon this village. So, is life in the waste treating you okay? What are you, my mother? Don't answer. I can see you're not her. Life is okay. Well, it's not like they say in my native Georgia. A sweet peach. But it's still okay. You suddenly remember that neither Alexander nor his family are from Georgia, but you politely decide to keep your mouth shut about it. I'm just so concerned about that lost expedition. It's so important to me to find it, you know? So important, both for my body and for my soul. I'm actually investigating a lead right now, in this bar. I'd share some clues with you, but I won't. Get your own clues, Chav. Fine, fine. What do you think about this place? It's okay. Too many holes in the ceiling and the walls. But you know me, Chav. I'm a man of nature. I am one with the forest. I don't need nothing. Just some food and some wind protection. But that lady over there... Alexander nods in the direction of the girl who writes something down in a notebook, which has the word accounting on the cover. She does not notice you looking. That girl Katya could have been more into me. You know, I'm the only person here that's not a freaky mutant. A former Marine. Great for breeding with. And yet, she doesn't look at me. Some gratitude for what I did for this country way back in Afghanistan. You suddenly remember that Alexander never served in the Marine Corps. Never fought in Afghanistan, and actually got his blue beret from a passing trader a few years ago. But you politely decide to keep your mouth shut about it. I know it's Marine Corps, not Marine Corps. I don't know why I added an S to it. I was actually in it, so it doesn't make sense for me to mix that up. Silly mistake. Well, I see. How's the investigation going? Well, I am calculating things. Yeah, looking for clues all around. I must find our lost guys. When I save them, I'm getting out of this place. 'Cause, well, just look at that guy over there, Chav. Alexander cautiously eyes the barkeep and lowers his voice. Check out his meaty eyebrows. A real-life mutant is what he is. A monster shaped into human form. Most of the villagers are like that. Ugly fellows. Inbred and dumb. Thank God me and you, we have integrity. We'll never tell anyone like that the location of our secret organization. Alexander waits until the barkeep turns his back on him and shakes his fist at him while making an angry face. I see. I heard anything interesting? I started tending to my muscles as of late. Did some bodybuilding, you know? I doubt a shrimp like you would find that interesting, though. Yeah. Why do you need to stay handsome? You're too much of a material man, you Chav. You think strength is only needed to intimidate people and force locks. But to me, you know, strength is beauty. The hidden beauty that makes girls around you blush and drop their pants down. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Alexander shows off his muscles to you. They are quite large. His hand looks like industrial chimneys. So, you didn't learn anything of importance? Well, how should I put this, Chav? Once I went into the woods. Maybe I drank some liquor before doing so. Maybe I didn't drink anything. But anyway, suddenly I heard a baby cry. Wah, wah, you know? The real deal. So you know what I did? Nothing. Just went my own way. Because it obviously wasn't a real baby. Just some vile mutant pretending to be one. Even if it wasn't a mutant, what am I supposed to do with an infant? Eat it? Not my cup of tea, my man. Maybe in the next life, I guess. I'll tell you one thing. If you hear a baby crying in the middle of the wilderness, just keep on walking. Yeah, because bobcats sound kind of like crying babies in the forest. So if you do hear a baby crying in the middle of the woods, where a baby shouldn't be, I highly recommend you avoid it as well. Because what bobcats do is they bury their head down into like a pile of leaves and scream. It's an extremely unsettling sound. If you haven't heard it before, it's better to look it up online and listen to it than actually be out in the wild and hear it. Because it is definitely nerve-wracking. Alright, that's it. We'll run across him later. He doesn't have a lot to say now, but he plays a kind of an important role later on. Not in the story, but for us. Alright, how long? Okay, I think I'm going to call the episode here. It's a little over time already. And in the next one, we'll talk to Kovalev and... Actually, let's read the book real quick. So a couple of things I meant to talk about. Alright, here we go. So this is a very long book. We're not going to read this whole thing. But this handbook is created for police officers to consult. Please bear in mind that it is a concise dictionary of prison slang. Fenya. However, this should be enough to help you perform better and avoid unnecessary risks. Colonel L.I. Dudden. That just goes over words. Bunch of slang. And that gives us a... Here we go. Streetwise. You're fluent in street jargon and are the right attitude to take around thugs and hooligans. I only remember it coming up maybe twice in conversation. Maybe 3 times. It doesn't show up very often. But it helps out in some conversations, especially with some of the early quests that we actually get from Kovalev, since we actually go and deal with a group of thugs. I also forgot to mention, I fixed my headset, so I'm a little bit more focused on the game than I was. I don't think I've mentioned it in this Let's Play, but my headset was broken on my left side, and it wasn't sitting against my head, so it wasn't clasped to my head. So what I had to do, I was constantly adjusting it and fiddling with it, so I kept getting distracted. And so whenever I was talking, I kept having these pauses or losing my train of thought, because I'd have to stop and fix my headset. Alright, so in the next episode we have 3 NPCs to talk to, Kovalev, and then the 2 guys outside of town. The guy next to the pond, and then the guy opposite of him. One of them gives us a quest, which is why we bought the vodka, but we'll take care of that next time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next episode.